the biggest story in India, we have a new Vice President, and that's CP Radhakrishnan. India has announced its new Vice President, CP Radhakrishnan, after he got a majority vote. In fact, CP Radhakrishnan has more than one reason to celebrate, certainly. Not only did he get the NDA votes, he also got 14 votes from the opposition. Cross-voting happened. India Bloc's 14 members have voted in favor of CP Radhakrishnan. Now, who they are, we're not clear as yet, but certainly a lot for the NDA and CP Radhakrishnan to rejoice. The polls opened in Delhi this morning with Prime Minister Narendra Modi casting the first vote. In fact, this vice presidential election came after Jagdeep Dhankhar resigned on July 21st, citing health reasons. So it was an exit that was abrupt. Jagdeep Dhankhar left, saying that he was not well and did not want to continue. And 50 days later, you have CP Radhakrishnan, who's basically come to becoming the VP with a majority vote. In fact, he was a straight contender to Sudershan Reddy of the India Bloc. A straight fight, BJP-led NDA's pick, Maharashtra Governor CP Radhakrishnan versus India Bloc's candidate, former Supreme Court Judge Justice B Sudershan Reddy. Out of the total electoral college of 788 MPs, 245 from Rajya Sabha, 543 from Lok Sabha, the majority mark stood at 377. Three major parties, the BJD, Odisha's Naveen Patnaik's BJD, Telangana's BRS and Punjab Shiromani Akali Dal. Three of these parties abstained from voting altogether. On paper, the NDA in total had 427 MPs who were in favor, plus they had the support of the YSRCP's 11 MPs. So NDA in total expected 438 votes, but what NDA got was 452 votes, 14 more than what was expected. The India Bloc, which had 315 MPs, ended up getting only 300 votes. So, and one ballot was left vacant, it was blank. So we presume that the 14 votes of the India Bloc went to the NDA. Now, who is India's 15th Vice President? CP Radhakrishnan is born in Tiruppur, Tamil Nadu, 1957. CP Radhakrishnan began as an RSS swayamsevak. He became a two-time MP from Coimbatore, served as Tamil Nadu's BJP chief, chaired as the COIR board. He in fact chaired the COIR board, later took charge as governor in multiple states, including Maharashtra being the latest. With over 4 decades in political and governance, he now steps into one of the highest constitutional offices in the country. Joining me for a little more, Savio Rodrigues, founder and editor-in-chief of Goa Chronicle. He's an analyst with his political acumen to give us a little sense of who cross-voted. Savio, would you have an idea? All right, we seem to have lost Savio's connection. We're going to try and patch him back. But certainly a big day for CP Radhakrishnan. It's interesting to see how the man was already, surely to win this election, it was mostly just a formality because NDA had most of the numbers. But cross-voting was something that we wanted to wait to see what would happen, and that's precisely what has happened. 14 MPs from the India Bloc have cross-voted in favor of CP Radhakrishnan. We have some reactions coming in. I'm going to dip into that.
Shri Bucci Reddy Sudarshan Reddy has secured 300 first preference votes, and Shri CP Radhakrishnan has secured 452 first preference votes. As the first preference vote secured by Shri CP Radhakrishnan was greater than the requisite quota, in pursuance of provisions contained in Section 11 of the Presidential and Vice Presidential Elections Act 1952, 31 of 1952, read with Rule 35 of the Presidential and Vice Presidential Election Rules 1974, I, PC Modi, the returning officer for the Vice Presidential Election 2025, hereby declare that Shri CP Radhakrishnan has been duly elected to the office of Vice President of India.
All right, Savio Rodrigues is with me. Savio, thanks very much for joining us. What's your take on the cross-voting? 14 MPs of the India Bloc, likely, we're not too sure who that is, have voted in favor of the NDA candidate. Do you believe that this is just basically exposing the cracks within the India Bloc, or more to do with personal equation or personal affection towards the NDA candidate?
Well, I think it has a lot to do with the Congress itself, because the Congress, in its wisdom, told all the candidates, both within the India Alliance as well as the NDA, to vote with a conscience. So 14 of them decided to vote with a conscience. And that conscience did not necessarily work in the advantage of India, but it worked in the advantage of the NDA. And rightfully, they have chosen one of the candidates who's actually a very good man. And I believe he will be a very good vice president for India.
Well, how does this result really impact the India Bloc's claim of unity? You know, we're looking at now India Bloc looking united, at least in Bihar. But at a time like this, you know, they've lost out on 14 MPs to the other side. We know general elections is a long way to go, but it seems like at least for the NDA, they can go to town with this, that they got 14 additional MPs to vote in their favor. Who are these MPs? Do you believe it's easy for them to find out?
No, I don't think it's easy for them to find out. I think we should be grateful to those 14 members of parliament who voted with their conscience for what they saw as the better candidate. And at the end of the day, they did it in the interest of the country. And like the India Alliance advised them, please vote by your conscience, I think they listened. So I don't think even the India Alliance, if they found out who those 14 members of parliament were, they should actually thank them because they voted by the conscience.
Why do you say so? Why do you say so? Why do you think Sudarshan Reddy wasn't a fit candidate?
I never said he wasn't the fit candidate. I was saying that primarily between the good, the better, and the best, I've always believed personally that CP Radhakrishnan was the better candidate. But that's my personal opinion. And now the members of parliament have also shown the same. So it's not whether one is good, bad, or anything of that sort. It's what a person believes. And I believe that even the 14 members of parliament who cross-voted believe that CP Radhakrishnan will do a better job than Sudarshan Reddy. And now, if we need to know whether Sudarshan Reddy will do a better job, I think the India Alliance would need to cobble up the kind of support they require. Right now, India's got a new vice president, a good man, and I believe he will do wonderful work as far as him being the vice president.
So you say that it's impossible to find out who cross-voted.
I think the India Alliance needs to retrospect themselves, because when you advise somebody to vote by their conscience, they're going to do just that, right? So I don't think they should be looking at who the 14 members of parliament is. I think they should look at themselves for suggesting to vote by their conscience, and that's what they did. If they would have suggested to vote by a dictate,
aside, but who voted?
They would have got
I'm basically trying to get an understanding on who may have voted. Is there a possibility for them to find out? Because the NDA eventually will go to town with this.
So.
You know, it was inevitable that CP Radhakrishnan would win as the numbers were stacked in his favor. But the surprise here is that 14 extra votes that they got. In fact, Sudarshan Reddy was very confident that there could be cross-voting. India Bloc was confident there could be cross-voting in their favor. But this has happened exactly the opposite, which is why it's interesting here. Either way, the RJD, beg your pardon, the BRS, the BJD and the Shiromani Akali Dal, three parties have abstained. Would you be able to tell us why?
Well, I think they didn't want to create complications with either relationships that they have with the India Alliance as well as the ruling government. That's my reading into it. But I still believe the 14 members of parliament, and I'm sure the India Alliance would be looking at finding out who they are. But I don't think they will find anything because it was a secret ballot, and I think they only advised the candidates to vote by a conscience. I think they should next time tell these candidates that they have as part of the alliance to vote as per a dictate of the India Alliance, as per opinion of the India Alliance, rather than telling them vote by your conscience. And 14 members of parliament, they could be from the Congress themselves, for all you know, who decided to vote with their conscience. Maybe they realized that Mr. Reddy was not the better person as the CP Radhakrishnan was. There
This
would be
was
many reasons that
conscience
led
or
their
whether it
function.
was strategy, whether it was personal equation, we could never tell. Whatever it is, we have a new Vice President, CP Radhakrishnan, who was started from the RSS ranks as an RSS swayamsevak and then went on to be the BJP's chief in Tamil Nadu earlier on, and then served as governor to multiple states. He's been an organizational man for the BJP, the NDA. He was the apt pick, and he seems to have made it through, and with a good majority. Thanks very much, Savio, for joining us.